Speaking of money, have you given any thought about setting aside money for retirement?
I've never thought about that ever in my life.
A lot of content creators don't plan accordingly about their future.
They don't.
If that day comes where they hang their hat and call it a career.
They don't at all. I mean, that's the thing. So when you make money as a creator, you need to realize that this is not a stable job that should just pay your bills for, you know, the time you're doing it.
Traditional or Roth IRA, XDD.
You can't even do some of them the way you want to when you're self-employed. When you're a creator, you're supposed to try and make buku bucks in that short time and then hope that that carries you over. You can either invest it afterward or it's just enough to live off of after that. That's the hope, because this is not the sort of thing that usually like you can do for 30 years. That's not really how this works. So when you see a creator and you see how much they're making yearly, people will be like, oh my God, with some of the bigger ones, right? They're like, holy shit, that's crazy. But I'm like, yeah, keep in mind, this guy's going to do this for 10 years and then try to live off of that same pile of money for the rest of the time. You know, like that's a lot of them want to retire at some point, or their career just fizzles out, you know, and you can keep streaming forever if you really want to, but will it always pay the bills? I don't know. So you kind of have to like take advantage and strike while the iron's hot, do as much as you can, knowing that you have to make this last. But I see a lot of creators forget about the future existing and they're like, I'm going to buy a really big house and a car right now. And I'm like, you don't leave your house, and that house is going to eat all of your money. What's going to pay for your food 10 years down the line? You know what I mean? There are a lot of people that just kind of like that up. So they make good money now, quote unquote, but it's like if you put it over the course of a lifetime, it's not that great. Now, hopefully they have something they could do afterward and just be a normal human in society or whatever. But a lot don't have a skill set for that. So they really have to like come up with something, you know? And it's kind of rough. I figure 1 million equals 20 years of 50K a year. You could spread money out like that, right? Like that's how I would say it. Then again, like you'll have time whenever your fizzles out. So you should be able to do something. But you know, if you don't make good money and have like a stack saved, then that means that when your fizzles out, you don't have money to invest in something. So you have to go do something else, you know? That's the entertainer standard. Make enough money to last like 40 plus years after you retire. That's the hope, right? You want to like make good money quickly, short burst, buy things like buy a house outright, and that all you owe now on it is just property tax and your standard bills, and then just hope that you can keep that going forever, right? And it ends up being similar to someone working a more normal job for however many years, but theirs lasts a lot of years. Usually you end up affording a lot of the same things. Obviously not the biggest creators, they make crazy money, but you know, like the medium-sized ones. Money can make money, you can live off interest too. Right, that's kind of like the thing you should do. So when I see a streamer make like a little money and they're like, oh, I bought myself something nice, I'm like, stop it, invest it, stop, put it in an account. Like, even if it's just in your savings and that's all it's accruing, like something, you know? Let it just sit there or something, you know, and then like make something. It's just crazy. 1 million now gets you positive interest investment growth though. Right, 1 million now if you do that. But people get 1 million now and they'll be like, I'll buy my house and a car and another car. And I'm like, hold on. It's crazy. Yeah, they get enough money to last you forever, get enough fame to get endless interview money. That's the hope. That's if things go well. A lot of the time it doesn't even go that well for you to do anything long term, to be honest.
Bits for GEEGA's retirement fund lol.
I'm trying to be as smart as I can with whatever I'm doing. No matter what, I think about it all the time. Obviously, I'm gonna try to do things as if this will never end, you know, as best I can.
Honestly,
but I think about
if you really want to get the most out of that money, it makes sense to invest in something that creates passive income over the course of your lifetime.
Yeah, but how many things do that? Not much. How many things really work out well like that? Not much. And a lot of those things cost a lot to make you any appreciable amount. So if you want to just make passive income, you're probably gonna have literally like $500,000 or more to put down on something that will just sit there. And then you're probably going to have to manually manage that thing, depending on what it is. If you could simply get passive income, everyone would do it. Yeah, you know, you could put things into an account, but you make more money when you put more money into an account. So if you don't have a ton of money in an account, you'd have like, what, 100K you put in somewhere, and it makes 2% per year. You're gonna live off that? You know what I'm saying? Like, even 5% per year, you're gonna live off that. So you have to have like a large amount of just money to just let sit there. And then let's say you want to do something more active. People are like, oh, real estate. Okay, buy a house and landlord it. You know what you have to do? You have to landlord it, or you have to hire a property management company to landlord it. It's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, okay? You could go to some advisor and have them, you know, invest for you, maybe. That's pretty passive, I guess, but then you give them a good portion of what's earned. So, you know, like a lot of these things, if you want them to make you enough passive income to properly live off of, you'd have to have so much starting money. So that's why it's a little scary.